We did it. We've teamed up, and together we've created something special. We are the Idaho Underground Sports Network, and we're changing the game. We're covering Idaho high school sports in a way that you haven't seen before. Together, we'll be providing weekly breakdowns and recaps while helping uncover Idaho's top talents at a deeper level. Trust us, you want to be part of this. Boise Sports Talk, EBC Media, and the Game Time Guru bring you Gym Session. Let's get to work. What's up, guys? Lights, camera, action. We're going to be talking about the movie that Friday night was with the two semifinal matchups that we had today on Gym Session. My name is Shane Larson, also known as the Game Time Guru, alongside Ty Spangenberg from Boise Sports Talk and AJ Niebergall from EBC Media. We are the Idaho Underground Sports Network, bringing you guys Gym Session. We're excited to be here with you guys today on this week's episode. Now, a couple of housekeeping items. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Okay, Instagram is our bread and butter. We say it every single week, but we appreciate those who are new to the channel. I know we had quite a few subscribers this last about 7 to 10 days come into the YouTube channel. We're grateful to have you guys here. Welcome aboard, but go follow us on Instagram at Idaho Underground Sports. That's where we're posting most of our content, and it's not going to stop. We'll be talking a little bit about what's happening after football's over and what you guys can expect from the sports content side of things, because we're about to get into basketball, but we still got football to finish up. And we got some stuff to talk about today. Again, we're also on Twitter. This is one of the platforms that we're on. Go to @IDUndergroundSN, as you see right there on Twitter. Follow us there. Again, Instagram is our big time platform, but we are on Twitter and we are present there. So we'd love to continue to grow that following. If you have a Twitter account, make sure you're following us there. As we do every single show, want to give a shout out to Eagle Ridge Apparel. They are the guys. If you see the apparel that Ty's got on, that AJ's got on, Eagle Ridge is in charge of all that. They're the ones doing this stuff. They're doing a great job. So shout out to them for always getting us hooked up with the merchandise. And a lot of you guys out there who are listening to this, you probably have a sweatshirt or something, right? Like you might have one of these giveaway shirts that we've done, or you have a hoodie or whatever it is. Eagle Ridge is the ones to credit for that. And again, shout out to D1 Training for being one of our sponsors as well. If you guys are interested in working with us, the Idaho Underground Sports Network, if you want to be a sponsor, you want to participate in what we've got going, because it's only going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, let us know. You hit us up and we can talk to you guys about the opportunities we have as sponsors. Like, we want to be able to work with those in the community, work with people who want to work with us. All right, so exciting week this week. Just this week, like just early this week, at the time of this recording was yesterday, but it'll probably be Wednesday when we launch this. So we posted our award winners, okay? So check out our Instagram page. We had quite the, the feedback. It's a lot of good feedback. And, of course, some people out there, you want to give their opinions, which we respect, because everybody loves the players they cheer for and so forth. We love that. But we did post our award winners, the all-SIC stuff that you guys want to see. So go check that out on our Instagram page and see some of those. Guys, you may disagree with some of them, but we have reasons for that. We've been following this pretty closely, if you haven't noticed, over the last 10 weeks or so. And we've seen some of these studs. And our whole job here at the Idaho Underground Sports Network is to uncover Idaho's top talents, right? Show you the hidden gems that we have. And so congrats to all the award winners if you guys saw yourselves on Instagram. And if you haven't yet, go check out the Instagram page to see all of our winners. Okay. This is a big stuff. Like I said, it was like a movie. Ty said it the other day. Friday night was a movie. Unbelievable semifinal matchups that we got to see. Crazy finishes. Eagle versus Highland over at Thunder Stadium, and then Meridian versus Rigby here at Meridian, Idaho. We had some crazy games going on in the Treasure Valley. And to start things off, I wanted to get, Ty, who was on site at Thunder Stadium, talking about that game, the breakdown. As the Mustangs, I call it the Hershey Kiss. They experienced the Hershey Kiss, okay? Crazy finish, where ultimately was topped off with a field goal from Ian Hershey from Highland, bombing another one. Ice cold, just crazy good kicker. But the game itself was just so intense. And if you guys were following it on Instagram, you got to see Ty's updates on our story all throughout the evening. Unbelievable. But we want to know what it was like being there, Ty. So give us the rundown of that Eagle Highland matchup.
Yeah, so we talked about it briefly Friday night, but in my opinion, we saw two of the best three games this season, the third other game being the Eagle versus Meridian game at the midpoint of the regular season. Two awesome matchups. This Eagle Highland game, I'll say this. If Eagle was playing any other team and was in the position that they were late in the game, they would have won this game. But Ian Hershey and his ability to make these late game field goals, and like you said, ice in his veins. Right before he kicks the field goal, he was warming up, slipped on the field, fell down on the field. He was the only one out there warming up. And the entire Eagle sideline starts laughing at him. Ian Hershey looks at him, starts waving, doing this. He lived for that moment, and he came through and executed for his team. But breakdown of the game, I mean, this was evenly matched. Highland really controlled the tempo for most of it, but Eagle stuck around. Their offense really started to click. Ian Duarte had a monster game. He took two big ones to the house for a couple 80-yarders, and then had another at least two or three big plays. I think he probably ended with over 200 yards on the night. He was Eagles' X factor. They needed a couple other guys to step up and help him kind of shoulder the burden. Late in the game, Jack Benson, he ended up being that guy that did that for him. His last high school play of his career, he took it to the house for a 50-yard touchdown run. Classic Jack Benson style. We've seen it from him all season long. But ultimately, I mean, Highland just did their job all game long on defense and on offense. Their offensive attack, to me, I was super impressed by. Jack Whitmer really had full control of their offense. They were hitting Eagle with, a whole bunch of different looks. They had a bunch of different guys coming into the backfield. Kevin Dahlstrom, Eli Parrish, Raymond Barella, receiver. He's listed at 5'6", 120. This receiver should have had a hat trick. I don't know if you guys saw in the story, but there was one that they ruled out of bounds, but he got his toe down. I'm certain about it. So he should have had a hat trick in that game. Not a big kid, but this kid was moving. There was a blown assignment that he got a touchdown on, but the Rams offense to me was so polished, and Eagle did a good job, as the game went on, of kind of slowing it down, keeping them to field goals rather than touchdowns. But ultimately, Ian Hershey was the X factor, just his ability to hit a 50-yarder and then to hit a 40-yard game winner. In my opinion, I don't think that there's another kicker in the state that is capable of doing that. So he was their X factor, but you got to credit this Highland offense because it was just a well-oiled machine that executed well. Their offensive line did their job, and then defensively, they kept it. They didn't allow Eagle to march down the field. Right, Eagle had to score on big chunk plays, which they were able to do, but ultimately Highland kept them in check. They kept Donovan Jones in check. Ian Duarte, like I said, was incredible. I mean, we knew he was that guy, but he put on a show for us. I don't think I've seen a player move that fast all season long, and he did it on multiple occasions. So big shout out to them. Shout out to the Eagle Mustangs in general. They had a really great season. They battled adversity all season long. I know they had some guys that were, battling some ailments even this week, and they came in and they still put up a big fight. So my hats are off to them, and obviously off to Highland as well, because I mean they came to Boise 2 weeks in a row and took care of two of the best teams in the state. So Eli Parrish let me know about it after the game, which I respect. Shout out to you, number 2. We'll see you on Friday. But hats off to Highland, hats off to Eagle. It was one of the best games I've seen all season long.
So cool. And I appreciate you sharing that story. I didn't know the story about the warm up before the last kick and everything. And so that's that's crazy.
I'll tell you what. So that happened. And I think Highland had called timeout, or it was just they were getting ready to kick and he was warming up. But that happened, and then Eagle called a timeout. And in my opinion, they shouldn't have called that timeout. They should have let Ian kick while he was all high on the moxie of, John with the crowd, and let him go get – I think they should have let him just kick that first one and not call a timeout, but that's hearsay.
it's always that debate whether or not you ice the kicker or if it's actually a good thing for him in that situation. Obviously, it didn't matter. Gave him the Hershey kiss, boom, and they are on to the state championship. Massive shout out to Highland.
Love the nickname, by the way. I thought about a very similar nickname, so that's a good one.
Let's go. Yeah. We love that, dude. Like, we love seeing good football, and we respect good football. So while you guys might have heard us last week, we a couple of us have picked Eagle to win that one. Coming in on a 7-game win streak at home, very tough for Highland to come down twice to the Valley. Highland, all of us, a couple of us, all three of us, whatever you want to call it. I was trying to give it a little bit, make it a little softer there.
Sorry, Highland.
Highland, we got your respect. Don't worry. We were able to see you guys 2 weeks in a row. And you guys have definitely proven that you deserve to be there. You have earned our respect. But above all, you've proven that you deserve to be there. It's not a fluke. You deserve it. You did what you were supposed to do. And you beat some big time schools in their own home stadiums. That's big time. And now you get to go play the state championship basically in your own home turf too. So good for you guys. As we go across the street, AJ and I were there with Coach Mike. We're here for the Meridian Rigby showdown, 3 overtime bout. I liken this to the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder trilogy matchup. I'm a boxing fan. One of the best fights I've ever seen, where dudes are getting knocked down. Normally, you would never see a heavyweight get knocked down and come back up, especially twice in a bout. And it's like one of those fights where you didn't know at any moment someone was going to just land a bomb and win it, right? That's how it felt for me with Meridian versus Rigby. So going to 3 overtimes over there, offenses were on point. The difference was, while Meridian's offense was explosive, they were scoring in 2 and 3 minute spurts, like boom, boom. They just get down the field and score, whereas Rigby was methodical. First half of that game, Rigby controlled the ball. They had the ball for 17 of the 24 minutes. They ended up scoring with 5 seconds left to go in the half, which was a huge turning point because Meridian had the ball coming in the second half, and they went for 2. So they put it up 22-14 going into halftime, 5 seconds before the half. And so that was a huge shift. Even though Meridian answered and scored it right at the very, I think they scored within a minute and a half of the first drive of the second half. I think that was the Quentin Riley bomb that Malachi hit him with. They hit the 2-point conversion. They tied it. I just felt like that halftime, like that score right before the half was what Meridian really needed to get that momentum going into the second half. And they just kept slugging it, man. They kept slugging it. And Rigby controlled it. They were getting 6 yards a pop, 5 yards a pop. And even when Meridian had their backs against the wall, they had them against the wall, 3rd and longs. Tiger would scramble for a first down when it was 3rd and 7. Great coverage by the Ninja Turtles, but then Tiger runs it for a first down. It's like nobody would give an inch. Everybody just kept responding. And they got into the 3 overtimes where ultimately they did hold Meridian on 4 downs on the first possession of the 3rd overtime. And then on a 4th and goal, they decided to do a quarterback sneak rather than kicking the field goal for the win. They thought they had a better opportunity just to run it behind the line. They took it to Tiger Adolfo out of the shotgun. He followed his big guys right there and dove into the end zone. AJ had great coverage of that from the back part of the end zone to see that score. And it was, in my opinion, the best high school football game I have ever watched front to back. AJ, talk to us about your thoughts of the game and the rundown of it and what the atmosphere was like and everything. Let the listeners know.
Yeah, man, it was as electric as I've seen all year. Rigby was, when they showed up, we were like, okay, these boys are big. We knew they were big. Talon Togiai, their offensive lineman, I believe he's D1. He dominated on the right side of that. Their right side of the line, as we talked about before the game, was extremely dominant. I knew that Rigby was probably going to be able to do some things offensively. I did not know that they were going to go at one of the most well-rounded defenses and just completely just smash mouth, dominate, just up and down the field the entire game. As you were saying, there were no stops the entire game, no stops until the 3rd overtime when Ryder Thompson, in my opinion, made the play of the game, and he got there and got Quentin Riley wrapped up before he could hold on to the ball. And for me, that ended up being the play of the game. So shout out to Ryder Thompson, number 10, Rigby corner, huge play. But man, Tiger Adolfo is a real deal. I didn't really understand, and I love Meridian, love the coaching staff, love everything about them. That's my team. Didn't understand the strategy behind the defensive line. There was no pressure on Tiger the entire game. They more were spying him. There wasn't a lot of blitzing or anything like that. The Ninja Turtles were playing more off the receivers. Why I don't like that is because Rigby's top receiver, Taylor Freeman, was out. We got there and we realized that he had been injured at the end of the Capital game. It wasn't known. We found that out and we were like, wow, that's a huge loss for them. That's gonna help Meridian's defense a lot to take away an all-state receiver like that. But Meridian's defensive strategy for me, I thought would change at halftime because it was not working, and it didn't. And Tiger sat back there and he stood there all day, and he has more of a touch than I thought he had on the kind of the intermediate passes. I mean, he threw a touchdown pass to Dansby that was just right over Ashton Gardner, right in a spot where only Dansby could catch it. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's a Division I throw right there. So they let Tiger really sit back and just dictate and do what he wanted to do. And for me, you got to make him uncomfortable. You got to get after him and make him make quick decisions. And I know we heard a lot about him having a really nice deep ball. I don't know how many deep balls he threw at all. And he had all day, and that's because I think Freeman was out. So I would have expected them to get after him a little bit more, especially when Zeke Falavai was just running 5-6 yards, 5-6 yards, 5-6 yards. I was waiting for Meridian to make that adjustment to get 8, even 9 guys up in the box and just stack that strong right side of Rigby because they rarely ran to the left. And we knew they were going to do that, and they still did it. They did it however they wanted, whenever they wanted. And Falavai had to have had 150 yards on 30 carries plus. And then Tiger just, man, you really saw more so than I've seen anybody else this year, a quarterback have complete control over the entire football game, over what was going on. I was told at halftime by a Rigby supporter on the sideline that, hey, we knew coming into this, we're not stopping them. This is going to be a tough team to stop, especially with this quarterback and all their weapons and all this and that. So we knew we had to control the game. And my goodness, have I never seen a game control. It was a back and forth. It was an even fought game. Rigby wasn't in control. They played at their tempo, the way they wanted to play it. They ended up coming out on top. Either team could have won. I mean, there was multiple missed extra points and overtime and stuff like that. But Rigby was impressive when it came down to understanding what they were coming up against and what they needed to do to be successful. And they were. And so I don't want to say that that Meridian was out coached, because I think Meridian's the best coaching staff in the SIC, in my own personal opinion. I love Zamberlin. But I wish there would have been some adjustments defensively at halftime. But man, I thought the two best teams I saw all year, when it came down to just a one individual performance, the way both of these teams played offensively, 1 and 2 offensively, I think when healthy. Defensively, I was blown away that Meridian couldn't get a stop with all those guys they got. I think this is going to be great for Meridian moving forward, because I think 9 of the 11 guys on defense are back, or 8 of the 11 guys are back next year. But Rigby dominated this game. And Meridian still had a chance to win, which says a lot about their coaching staff, their players, their team. But Rigby's offense was unbelievable in so many different ways that you don't necessarily see on the stat sheet or stuff like that. But unbelievable football game. It was electric. Malachi Martinez, somebody give this kid a scholarship. Go get this kid before you regret it, because this kid is still, and nothing against Tiger, because what Tiger did from an intangible standpoint and a leadership standpoint, he's a Division I kid easy, and his physicality and his toughness, and whatnot. But Malachi Martinez is a Division I quarterback, man. He is a serious talent, and he showed it. And the way they responded, just bam, 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 bam. He was efficient. His arm strength is underrated. Someone needs to get this kid on their team real quick before they have to deal with him, which I promise you don't want to do. So great job by both teams. Disappointed at the result because I'm a Meridian guy, but really happy for Tiger after everything he's been through and that Rigby team. Bunch of class, very classy program. They've definitely been there. You can tell senior loaded. And I don't think if this is a team full of seniors, they handle the game the way they did. Really impressed by Rigby. Best team in the state, I think.
Yeah, that was a freaking amazing matchup. Such an amazing matchup. So many like ups and downs, and just like you think that your nerves are shot, but then you still got to keep going through. Like it was just crazy. It was one of those situations. What a lot of people who just saw the score won't realize is Rigby scored with about, I think it was like 7 minutes left to go in the game or something. It was in the fourth quarter, and they got their extra. I think it was Judah Argon who blocked the extra point. I could be mistaken, but I believe it was Judah who blocked the extra point. So they were up by 6, and you could sense that it shifted. The Rigby fans knew it. They're like, oh no, because like everybody had just responded. Everybody was scoring touchdown, kick the extra point, score. And so that was like the changing point. The momentum shifted because Meridian knew they're not going to stop us. And that was Meridian's longest drive. The following drive was their longest drive of the game. It took about 4 minutes off the clock, almost 5 minutes off the clock, and they score, and they get their extra point blocked off a bad snap and a bad hold. They get it blocked. Unbelievable, because up until that point, nobody had done that, and we thought it was all over right there. We're like, this is huge, because Rigby's drives were these long, methodical drives. They were only going to have 2 minutes to try to drive down the field at that point. That was huge. Not to mention, like AJ said, you get into overtime, Meridian gets their extra point blocked. It got blocked, it got tipped, and it ended up short. Their very next kick that they had, and then Rigby scores, and they kick a clean one, but they miss it, which was crazy. So up until that point, it was so clean, and then all of a sudden, 4 kicks in a row were just like boom, 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 and it was like, what just happened? Oh man, I can't stress enough. We just talked about Ian Hershey over and even Eagles kicker. Like, we've got good kickers all around. The kicking game is so important. You think that extra points don't matter and that kicking doesn't matter and these special teams don't matter? Oh man, you go ask Meridian and Rigby about that and see what they think, because Meridian had them right where they wanted them.
Yeah, you look at Meridian's losses throughout the year. They lost multiple games by single-digit point totals. So what does that come down to? You know,
100%.
That's why I think I can sit here and comfortably say they were a top 2-3 team in the state when they were healthy. No depth. They're not deep like Mountain View, deep like Rocky. They had injuries, so everyone's like, oh yeah, they were middle of the pack all year. Listen, when that team was healthy, when they got healthy, you saw it against Rigby. Man, they were right there with the best teams in the state, and they're young. They'll be back and all that. But I do want to give a shout out again. Con Danzy, the tight end for Rigby, was the best tight end I have seen. The performance, I saw Cody Walk and Donovan Jones are 2 of the best players in the state. Stanford's talking to Jones. So obviously those guys are next level. But Con Danzy dominated the football game, may have been the best overall player. Him and Zeke Falavai, that running back. But also Sam Coons had some huge, he had to have 8 or 9 catches as well. Rigby had more weapons than I thought they had. I can't imagine how difficult they would have been to defend with their deep threat, Mr. Freeman there. But yeah, man, what a game. But you're right, Ty. We talk about it all the time. Meridian lost to Mountain View, extra point, and then a 28-yard field goal. They missed the extra point, so they were down 1, got a 28-yard field goal, missed it, should have beat Mountain View. Rocky, they lost by 3, a field goal. Eagle, they were up 20-3 at half and then lost 24-23 because of a missed extra point in the first half. Then this game had a chance to get the state championship, missed extra point. Really difficult, and it's not the kicker's fault, the snapper's fault, the holder's fault. It's a team game, but you do understand the importance of kicking a football, and it's always said, and it's a cliche, whatever, game of inches. Game of inches.
It's exactly what it is. Shout out to Rigby. And like, to just one last point here, I was also talking to a Rigby supporter during the game, and he looked up at me and he goes, these are the 2 best teams in the state by a large margin. He goes, and it's not even a question. Now, that's not a disrespect to anybody else that we're talking about here, but he saw the same thing. We also like, holy cow, like these are 2 high-level programs, high-level athletes, like very good football game just overall. And then, yes, kicking is an essential part. So shout out to Tyler Rasa. If you guys want to go get some lessons from our boy over there, Rasa, former Boise State kicker, he's really good at that. He's got a lot of the guys around the valley working with him. So go check with him and, up your kicking game, because it's going to become more and more important as time goes on. If you're a kicker, get the right training, because you're going to be called upon. All right, so the state championship game, guys, we got Rigby versus Highland. Let's do a quick rundown of this one. We kind of just already gave our insight about what happened, what we've seen from these teams. I'm going to start with Ty. What do you expect from this game?
Man, I think a lot of people think that Rigby's going to go into this game and roll Highland. I do not think that is the case. Rigby took care of Highland earlier in the year. I think that was a 20-point win, if I'm not mistaken. I simply do not think that is going to be the case this week. I think both games were a roller coaster of emotions this past week, right? Back and forth, coming down to the last play of the game. To me, that emotional roller coaster that Rigby had is going to take a little bit out of them, in my opinion. I think just games like that, a lot of people called that the state championship, right? So they go playing this big game. It goes to triple overtime. They win in dramatic fashion. Those emotions are high. Now, can they keep that emotion and carry it over to the state championship? Very likely. We've said it multiple times. This feels like it's Rigby's year, right? But to me, Highland came to Eagle. They expected to win. After the game, they celebrated, but to me, they didn't seem surprised at all. And not in a cocky or arrogant way. They came to Boise and took care of business. Now they have the advantage of being, technically the home team. They're playing at Holt Arena. They're used to playing there. They're going to have a lot of fans there. It's going to be loud. This is going to be a 1 to 2 possession game. And very well could come down to, the last few minutes of the game, like we just saw from the 2 semifinals matchups. So I'm real excited. I'm going to be making the trip down with Cherry Films, our guy Ian. He has been killing it with the videos lately, and just a good overall dude. We love everything he's doing. I'm excited to go have some fun with him this Friday.
Shout out Cherry Films. If you guys see here on the bottom of the screen, go follow him on Instagram. Cherry Films, one of the better videographers that I have seen. He puts together some fire content. Yeah. AJ, what do you expect from the game?
Cherry Films, y'all just wait till basketball season. He's going to be changing the game, and he has a lot in store there. So, yeah, go check him out. But, yeah, man, this game, Ty really touched on it. Well, I haven't had a chance to see Highland in person, but I'm a believer now. Mr. Parrish, Mr. Barela, Jack Whitmer has continued to prove himself, big physical quarterback. Adam Jones, man, Ty educated on me about him weeks ago, and I feel like ever since then he's got an interception every week. He's making huge plays when it matters most. He's been one of my favorite kids to get to know and follow, just kind of what you guys have been doing. But yeah, triple overtime game. They're calling it the state championship. You're playing against a team that is clearly rolling right now in Highland. They're confident. They got slapped by Rigby last time. It's a better setup for Highland than I think they could wish for, to be completely honest with you. I know they gave up 300-400 yards rushing against Rigby last time. If you don't handle that, you're in trouble again, because they're running to the right, just a heads up, behind Talentogii and those boys. And you got to stop Tiger. You got to stop Falave, and good luck with that. If they can do that, and if they can get a couple stops and that offense can continue to roll, I think Highland's got a shot as well. I think, I just said 2 minutes ago that Rigby's the best team in the state. I think Rigby's going to win this game. That's my pick. But I'm a believer in Highland. No disrespect to Highland saying I think Meridian is the second best team in the state. That's a homer pick too. I love Meridian. If Highland has a chance to just shut everybody up and just solidify themselves as, hey, we are the best team in the state. That early season loss to Rocky Mountain was actually a fluke. That loss to Rigby, I don't know. This could be crazy. If Highland wins this game, we were all way off about Highland. But they've continued to show us. They go win at Rocky Mountain, was 31-1 the last 3 years before this year, defending state champ. They go to their place and win in a playoff game after being down 23-3, I think it was. Then they go to Eagle, who's the hottest team in the state, who just won in Coeur d'Alene, and they get a home game. They go beat them there. Those are impressive wins, and we all know how impressive that is and how tough that is. So this Highland team is going to have to stop the run game, just based on what we are hearing happened last time. And then Whitmer, Barela, Parrish, those guys are going to have to make plays. And are they capable? Obviously they are. So it's going to be fun to see what Highland can do. If Highland goes and wins this thing, I mean, wow, just incredible. It'll blow my mind. But like you said, it feels like Rigby's year. Tiger transferred out here, I believe it was last year, his sophomore year in Hawaii. They lost in the state title game. He took him there as a sophomore. I believe they lost in the state title game. His junior year last year, got to the state title game. They felt like they should have won that, lost the state title game. It just feels like the third time's a charm. That's a big bad boy, Division I commit. The leadership's there. They're senior loaded, the physicality. They feel confident going in against Highland. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this one goes down. I think, like Ty said, this is not going to be a blowout. This is going to be a serious game.
I didn't touch on it, but to me, biggest X factor game, Sloan Lamson, linebacker for Highland. He is going to need to have a monster game. This kid is, I mean, he's got the size to be D1. He's got the attitude for it. I'm very impressed with number 48, Sloan Lamson. He is going to need to come in and have a monster game, because I think that the biggest mismatch to me is the Rigby O-line versus the Highland D-line. Their D-line did great against Eagle, but Eagle's offensive line is not Rigby's. They played great all season long, but they're just not. They don't have that size. And how Highland's going to match up against that is the biggest question mark. But to me, it's the Highland linebackers that have to step up and be the difference makers.
Well, and if this is a close game, it's Highland's advantage, because they give those little kisses at the end of the game. You're talking about Shane, a little Hershey kiss. You don't want you don't want it to come down to that. You don't want it to come down to that.
100%. And let me just give my quick insight on this. I kind of pretty much just echo everything you guys have said. Highland has gained my respect. I think Rigby is the better team as far as overall talent and leadership and experience at this particular point. But Highland has historically speaking, Highland is always in the talks, always in the mix. They're there. So they know, the program knows, this is like two very equally matched teams in that sense. Like, they're not scared of the moment. And like Ty alluded to, this is a home game basically for them. They're playing on their home. They're familiar with this situation. No one's scared of the moment. It's going to come down to who can control the ball and don't make mistakes. Just like that Meridian Rigby game, no one was making mistakes. And that's how you stay in the game. And if Highland can execute and keep the ball rolling down the field, score for score, sure, you can stake right in the game with it. And who knows, maybe it comes down to a kick. I do see Rigby pulling this one out. I'm going to give you my pick right now, and that's no disrespect to Highland. I think these are two teams that most certainly deserve to be there. They have proven that. But someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. That's the reality of sports. I got Rigby winning this one. Like AJ said, I don't think Tiger is going to lose again. I think he's going to do what it takes to get his team to win. I think Rigby pulls this one out. So,
like it has all season long, I hope this lights the fire for Highland, but I ultimately have to pick Rigby as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to give our opinions and thoughts. But if you guys, if it lights the fire, great, do your thing. We think both teams are capable of getting the job done, though. Shout out to everyone. Ty is going to be down there, like you said, with Cherry Films. So make sure you guys are following at Idaho Underground Sports Network so you guys can get the updates from that. Follow Cherry Films on the Instagram as well. Give him some love. And hopefully I'm going to try to figure out what I'm doing this weekend. We're trying to figure out the logistics of everything on whether or not I can make it over to Pocatello as well. But that's going to be a fire game. Make sure to stay tuned. Now, you guys are wondering what's happening after football's over. What's going on? Are you guys going to shut down the network? Like, what are you doing? Heck no, dude. Football was like getting us started for the season. We got basketball on the way. So don't worry about that, you guys. So if you guys remember, AJ was kind of the pioneer here with the way that, covering basketball from the social media aspect and doing things the way that we're doing. AJ was the pioneer, and basketball is like where we have our fire. So we love our football stuff. We're so grateful to be bringing you football content. We've had a blast with it, but don't worry, we got basketball coming on the way. So really, really quickly, AJ, what do you expect from the basketball? What can the fans expect from our basketball coverage coming forward? Because we're going to be talking about that here on Gem Session about basketball stuff starting probably next week. So what can they expect from us from a content standpoint?
Well, I mean, as we've been talking, we're very excited to actually dip into some girls basketball this year. We think the ladies deserve some love. We've got some serious athletes out there. Naya Ajokwu, Utah commit. Sydney Rodriguez, she's getting looks from University of Portland over there at Bora. Jaden McNeil was just player of the week for Bora. So we got a lot of things coming down the pipeline. We're going to cover 4A boys basketball like we have been, and then 5A SIC will be our main focus, along with 5A state. The North and the East we are familiar enough with. We've built enough relationships. We're going to be bringing you 5A SIC weekly, covering those games. I'm going to head up north for a couple weeks after the new year. I'm going to cover up north, maybe try to get over to the east. But, man, 5A boys basketball, 4A boys basketball, 5A girls basketball, at least from an SIC standpoint, and see what we can build from there. But me and my guys are familiar with basketball. Me and my guys are excited about basketball. Me and my guys are all hoopers ourselves. So trust me when I say we're going to have a good time with it, and it's going to be different than basketball, just how we deliver it. But we're also going to incorporate the new member of our team, Cherry Films, and then he's got some special things in the works to just bring you a completely different view of kind of our process and just high school sports coverage in general. We're trying to build something here, and we're building a great team, and we're going to have fun with this. So if you're looking for a good time, come hang out with me and my guys, because we got that for you.
Let's go. Basketball's on the way. Again, follow us on Instagram at Idaho Underground Sports. Okay, follow us there. But I also want to remind you guys, we got to get Ty over 10,000 followers. You guys got to start following Ty. So we got Boise Sports Talk in the house, okay? Best sports news here in the Valley. Who else is covering Boise State hockey, rugby, soccer, and then basketball? Dude, Ty does it all. He's got College of Idaho and everything here in the Valley. Go follow at Boise Sports Talk. He's got his own entity right there. Get him over to 10,000. Share his stuff. Get him out there. AJ's got EBC Media. Make sure to follow him. He's the one who started the basketball content. Go follow him at EBC Media. And if you guys want to, go follow me at Game Time Guru. That's my little podcast I've got running around right now. So
your cute little podcast.
My cute little podcast.
What 92 countries is not cute, bro. It's sexy.
Professional Athletes Weekly.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
Come follow at Game Time Guru. Follow us. We're happy to chat with you guys. We're having a blast doing this, and we can't wait to continue to bring you guys content. We appreciate all the support from all the listeners, all the followers, and it's only been about 10 weeks, 11 weeks. Guys, we got way more coming your way. We are the Idaho Underground Sports Network. So on behalf of AJ from BBC Media, Ty from Boise Sports Talk, I am Shane from Game Time Guru, and we're signing off. Take care.